And I have been asked to introduce the story, and I'm going to introduce it this way. When I was a kid growing up, my dad especially loved telling stories. I took that with my kids as far as they would let me. It was my son who first said, I'm a sophomore in high school now. Do we have to read at night together? And I said, okay, I won't tell you that it doesn't hurt, but okay, as long as you're reading, okay? And I think same with the baby, now that she's a sophomore, about that freshman time, she was like, I'm reading, Dad, I get it. But stories are beautiful because of what they hold. And this story is a story of hope, but it's not necessarily going to happen today. But listen to the story for this family. It's called All Is Well. And for those of you who know authors, it's written by Frank Peretti. All is well. Because God entered our world as a child born in a manger, all is well. We all know that. Well, sort of. I mean, all is well. Make a nice plaque on a wall. Greeting to throw around like prayer changes things or God is good, but all is well. Do we always see it that way? I guess it depends on where you're standing and how good the view is from there.
That's how it was for Ruth Preston and her young son, Danny. It was July. There'd been a divorce about 2 years ago, and Ruth held on to that phrase. She needed something to keep their spirits up, to keep their hopes alive.
Mom, did you buy any Cheerios?
Well, no, but look at it this way. We saved money, and I didn't have to carry as much stuff home. I didn't have to carry Cheerios or ice cream or paper towels or dish soap. Just feel how light this grocery bag is. So all is well, right?
All is well.
I think I heard something.
All is well.
That's the stuff. Hey, guess what? I'm coming up on 1 year at the cannery, and then I'll get a raise at work.
Then you can go back to nursing school.
Well, no. I still have to pay the bills. Besides, who needs that dumb old nursing school anyway?
I could work.
Thanks, but you're too little.
Yeah, but I could sell things.
Honey, we've already sold everything that isn't nailed down.
But Mom, we gotta have faith, remember? We gotta prove that we can make it on our own. So, can I?
Did we get any mail?
I put it on the dresser.
Opening the mail had become a daily ritual, an expectation that hope might arrive in an envelope. A child support check had not come for over a year, but there's always a first time. It wouldn't be today. Ruth opened the envelope and frowned.
What is it, Mom?
Oh, it's the electric bill.
So can I, please?
Can you what?
Can I sell stuff?
She agreed. Early on a Saturday morning, the neighbors all heard the rumble and squeak of Danny's wagon, followed by his timid knock at the door.
Hi, I'm Danny Preston. I'm selling stuff.
Abby Duvall, the plumber's wife, was still in her bathrobe. What are you selling? It looks like junk.
It's good junk. Look at this.
A coffee can?
Yeah, you can keep things in it. Look, it's so shiny on the bottom. You can see yourself in it.
I don't need any more empty cans around here.
I've got an egg carton for keeping jewelry or small buttons.
No.
How about some Christmas ornaments?
In July?
Buy them now. Use them later.
The rest of the morning didn't go much better. Junk was something everybody had plenty of and saw no need to buy.
Jesus, you just got to help me sell something. I don't want to see Mom sad.
Honk, honk. It was Mr. Patrick in his old red truck. Hi there, Danny.
Hi, Mr. Patrick.
What do you have there in your wagon?
I'm selling special things today. I've got a shiny silver coffee can and a nice egg carton to put things in.
What's in the box?
Oh, Well, it's Christmas stuff. I guess it's the wrong time of year. Nobody wants to buy it.
Let me see.
Danny opened the box, and the sunlight bounced out in silver and gold sparkles. But Mr. Patrick, he didn't paw through the box like the other neighbors did. He picked up one piece and then another. A toy soldier, a teddy bear, a silver star. But then he saw something. Must have touched his heart. Danny could see it in his face.
How much for the whole box?
Danny's heart leapt. The whole box.
I'll give you $10.
Oh, Danny couldn't talk. His eyes and mouth were wide open.
Merry Christmas.
$10. Wait till I show Mom. Of course, $10 can seem like a fortune to a kid. But to an adult with overdue bills, empty cupboards, legal expenses, and a possible eviction, well, Ruth tried to give her best performance.
Oh, Danny, that's wonderful. She tried to sound cheerful, but her eyes were red and her voice was weak. And Danny knew his mom had been crying.
What's the matter, Mom?
Nothing. Nothing. We're doing great. And you're really being helpful. $10. Wow.
So, all is well, right?
You bet. All is well.
But Danny couldn't feel good. He could only stare at his mom as pain dripped into his soul like hot wax. Mom, tell me how come.
How come what?
How come all is well?
Danny, it just is. We just believe that.
But
you
you
have to believe
always
it.
used to tell me how come. Remember?
Of course I remember. It was because she had so much on her mind lately, and it was a long time ago. Truthfully, Ruth didn't remember. She just sat there and couldn't say a word.
Mom, I could show you. He stopped suddenly. Some thought, some memory occurred to him. Uh-oh. Quickly he turned. Mom, don't go away. I'll be back in just a minute. And with that, he bolted out the door. There was something that Danny had to find. He looked in the storage shed. Then he checked under the stairs in the boxes left over from the yard sale. He even pawned through some trash, but he couldn't find it.
Danny grabbed his wagon and he pulled it down the street, clickety-clack, all the way to Mr. Patrick's house.
Mr. Patrick, please, I need to buy back one of those Christmas things. It was a little dingly-dangly thing with a string, and it had some glittery letters on it.
The little clay one?
That's it!
Oh, Danny, I'm sorry. I don't have it anymore. I gave it to Mrs. Perringer. I thought it might encourage her a bit. Danny ran to Mrs. Perringer's house with the wagon behind him, but Mrs. Perringer had given it to the Buxtons.
So Danny ran to the Buxtons. They'd given it to the Diskowskis. Danny ran to the Diskowskis. Then to the Joneses, then to the Severinsons. Up and down the street he went.
Finally, he came to John Ketchum's house.
Mr. Ketchum, I'm Danny Preston from up the street, and I need to buy something back. I don't have any money, but here, you can have this coffee can that you can put things in. You can even have this egg carton that's good for buttons and small things. You can even take my wagon, but please, I've got to get that little clay thing back.
Danny had been gone for almost 2 hours. And Ruth wanted to bring him home. But then they'd be alone, just the two of them, in the same bare-walled apartment with the peeling paint and the smelly refrigerator with no food in it and the drippy sink and the empty cupboards, the home they might not have next month. And Danny would be standing there, desperate for hope, his eyes asking the same question that Ruth had lost the answer for.
Mom, how come all is well?
And what could she tell him? Just the same old thing. All is well. Don't worry. Keep your chin up, kid. Think positive. Look for the silver lining. Oh, God, please don't tease me. Don't make me a liar. If you've given up on us, if you don't care about us anymore, then let me know right now, because I can't go on acting like you do care. Ruth didn't even hear Danny come in.
Mom, I got it back.
It was a little clay Christmas ornament. Ruth took it, turned it over a few times, and the memories came flooding back. Danny, where'd you find it?
It was in a box with some Christmas stuff. I accidentally sold it to Mr. Patrick, but he gave it to Mrs. Perringer, and then she gave it to the Buxtons, and then she...
Danny named every stop he'd made all around the neighborhood.
Now do you remember, Mom?
Ruth remembered. Danny made this ornament when he was 7. It was misshapen. The painted colors were faded, but the message was clear.
On one side were those words, "All is well."
On the other side was the reason, "For unto us a child is born."
All is well. Huh, Mom?
All is well, Danny.
Well, like I said at the beginning, it all depends on where you're standing and how good the view is from there.
When you're the storyteller, you know things the people in your story don't know. I know why all those neighbors were passing that ornament around. They were buying it from each other to raise money for the Prestons. They were paying $20, $100, even $200 for it. It was Mr. Patrick's idea. And tomorrow they'll take their gift to the Prestons and holler, "Merry Christmas," in July.
So I know that Ruth and Danny will be okay. And I know that eventually Ruth will finish nursing school. Things won't be easy, but they'll make it.
But you know what tickles me? Ruth knows it too. She knows all those things. No one has told her, and she can't see any of it from where she is.
But she remembers, and she'll tell Danny once again that God is the grand storyteller of our lives. He weaves our days and strings them together like beads on the chain of history. He knows the placement of every person and every event. From his lofty height, he has the best view of all.
She'll tell Danny that in a stable in Bethlehem, so long ago, God wrote himself into the story and became its central character. Now the weaver of the story walks with us in the midst of the story, and he'll stay with us until that story is completed in his way, in his time, for his glory. And that's how come all is well. Remember?